Right, class. This is a topic we're supposed to treat today, but due to the failure of greatly to help us to connect, we couldn't have it live. So let's have the class. We're going to look at evolution. Basically, evolution is a wide topic, has to do with the changes that happen in a living organism for a long period of time. These changes could occur in its forms, morphology, or physiology. It occurs as a result of how it gets food and how to survive predation actually. So let's look at adaptation. The objective of this class is for us to define what adaptation is all about and also to discuss adaptations in plants and animals, basically those living in aquatic habitats. Also to discuss the habitations of plants and animals in the terrestrial habitat and what helped them to live in such conditions. And also want to discuss the adaptation of some special organisms in the course of this study. Now, in form of introduction, actually, adaptation has to do with the ability of organisms to possess some special features, special characters, special structures on their body. It can be the type of their mouth, their legs, their fur, the color of the fur on their body that actually help them to survive in a particular area where they live. If I might ask you to define what adaptation, I know you can, but adaptation basically means the ability of an organism to live successfully in a habitat as a result of its structure, appearance, and behavior. We have three basic types of adaptation. We have the physical adaptation or structural adaptation. This one has to do how the living organism look like, the structure of their leg, the structure of their eyes, the structure of their body, those structures, appearances that we can see with our physical eyes, especially what you can see about the leopard here. We have also physiological adaptation, which is also called functional adaptation. This one has to do with the changes in the internal environment of the organisms in order to survive in a particular area. Like skunk, most of the time they do release foul air or gas to scare away their their predators. That is a physiological behavior. Then we have behavioral adaptation. Some has to do with hibernation. Some animals live for a long period of time if there is no food or if the condition is adverse for them to survive. So they sleep. That sleeping is a behavior, especially in this kind of animal. They can sleep for the rest of the like 5 months, 6 months. Some animals even take them a year in order to avoid the harsh weather or the lack of food in that habitat where they are. So that is a behavioral adaptation. Let's look at adaptation of animals. Basically, we shall look at the adaptation of animals in the water. Some of the structures that help the animals in the water or aquatic habitat are the presence of their fins. Some of them you can see the eyesight very sharp. They have streamlined body like a long body. They also have some structures internal that we cannot see. We have the lungs, we have the gills. They are inside, we can't see, but they are formed in such a way that they can live or use them in the aquatic environment for them to survive. We have the lungs, we have the swim bladder. This is special to fishes, tilapia fish. They have it in order to help them float in the water. We have also adaptation of plants in the aquatic environment. We have the water hyacinth, water um, lily, water hyacinth, and water lettuce. This is water lettuce. And then we have mangrove. And then we have, this is a structure of aquatic, a transverse structure of an aquatic um, plants. It can be water lily, it can be water hyacinth, it can be water lettuce. If you cut the stem into two or the floral stalk into two, this is what you see. It has a kind of a hollow in its body. This is the area space where they store air. This helps them to float on the water. It helps them to be to float, not to sink in the water. So that is it. Some of these plants also they have waxy cuticle. Waxy cuticle helps them to disallow water to enter into their body. So it helps them not to be wet with the water or not to get wetted with water. We also have they have also long stem so that they can stand above the surface of the water. They have a long stalk in order also to expose the flower for pollination, for pollinating agents. They have advantageous roots, especially in water lettuce that helps them to absorb nutrients and also for balancing in the water. Most of the times, these plants they don't you don't find them in the soil. Most of them they float on the water surface, so it gives them balance and also it helps them to absorb nutrients in the water for them to grow maximally. They also have breathing roots. This one like in mangrove plants like this, mangrove plants, since they live inside water and the oxygen in the water may not be sufficient for them for respiration. So they grow certain structure above the water which they call breathing roots. So they use that structure in order to absorb oxygen in the atmosphere where they are. You can see these long structures. You can say this is a breathing roots. See another one. This is a breathing roots, which they use to take in air into oxygen into their body for respiration. We have adaptation of animals in the terrestrial habitat. This one not in the water, but this time around is on the land. These are animals that live on the land. So they have some um, special features on their body that enables them to survive, to live successfully on the surface of the land. For example, the presence of the leg. They have powerful leg that helps them to move from one place to another. Like you have powerful leg also that help you to live from one place to another. We have lungs. Those animals in the water, they don't have lungs. What they have is gills specialized for their adaptation in the water. But we that are living above the surface of the water or on the land, we use lungs for gaseous exchange. They have also sweat gland. You don't find them that one in what in aquatic animal. It is only in the terrestrial animal. So we use it to reduce temperature. We use it for excretion. We have also hair on our body for temperature regulation. We have also feather. It's also for temperature regulation in um in birds, and also they can use it to fly. And then we have skin to protect the animals from pathogens and also to protect the animal from mechanical damage as well. Then they have also cuticle. This one is mostly in insects. They have cuticle that covers the entire body. This prevent them from desiccation. It prevent them from drying up, from losing excess water since they live in a desert. Most of them are living in the desert. So and water is a precious commodity in the desert. So they have this cuticle that covers their body so that the water they have, the limited water in their body can be conserved by the cuticle. So this is a special structure on their body which they use to adapt in the terrestrial environment. Also, let's look at arboreal habitat. Now, arboreal habitat is a habitat where, let me just say, it's a tree. It's a tree. There are some animals that live in the tree, so we call them arboreal animals. Animals that live on the tree. So they have special structure different from our own. Their body is so flexible. So this video is on Greatly. I'll put the link there so that you can watch how their behavior or the behavior of these animals on the trees. They have special parts there, and their hands or their leg does not sweat at all, so as not to reduce friction. It helps them to grip. They have claws on their body, on their legs, so as to grip. They also have a streamlined body. Their joint, they have a flexible joint that helps them to turn one place to another. Some of them can fly. Some of them have membrane that they can use to fly. Some of them have um feather that they can use to fly. So if you have time, I don't think, let me try if this uh, will play. So basically it may not play because of this. So you can find time and watch the video on uh, Greatly. Um, Actually, okay, this link will lead us to some special features of arboreal animals. I think I don't think whether it's possible for us to get it, but just copy the link. You can see some of the special features that they have. They have adhesive tail. Some of them have long tail that they can use to grab the stem of or the branches of plants as they move from one place to another. Some of them have a hand that can grab the stem, and some of them can change color. They have powerful eyesight that can see through the thick forest, and some of them can turn their eyes 360-degree. That can help them to see the enemies that are behind them and also the ones in the front. They don't need to turn. So these are some of the special adaptation that they have. Some of them changes the color of their body to blend, to camouflage with the environment so that the enemies or the predators will not see them and also catch catch them as well. So for plants, there are some plants also that are arboreal. They are called epiphyte. These plants, they grow on the top of another tree. This is because they are very short, and so since they are growing under other tree, they cannot access sunlight for photosynthesis. So what they do, mostly they grow on the branches of other trees so that they can access sunlight for photosynthesis. So they are also called epiphyte. Now let's look at some adaptation of plants in the terrestrial environment. One, they have succulent stem. That is, they have a space within the stem where they can store excess water. They have some of them have tiny and also scanty leaves. The leaves can be many. The leaves can be scanty. In most cactus or cacti, they have scanty leaves in order to prevent transpiration of water because they must conserve the water. They are mostly in the desert, so they must conserve the water. So they need that kind of scanty number of leaves. Like for example, cactus. Most of the leaves have been reduced to thorns. This is another special adaptation that they have in order to conserve water. They have cuticle in order to prevent them from transpiration, prevent the water from evaporating from their body or from leaving their own tissue. They have root system for anchorage and also to absorb water in the soil. They have thick bark that protect the internal tissue either against fire outbreak or against mechanical damage. They have that one to protect them. They have numerous leaves also for photosynthesis. Like this plant has a lot of leaves. So depending on where they are. So animal that has a plant that has numerous leaves like this, they are mesophyte. But the ones that have less leaves like this one, they are called xerophyte. But the ones that live in the water, we call them hydrophyte. So they have special adaptation or special features that can help them to live in the particular environment where they are living. So, but we're going to look at some animals that have some special animals, have some special character or special features on their body that can help them to survive in a particular place where they are. So, first of all, we're going to look at the tilapia fish. Now, this is a diagram of a tilapia fish. Tilapia fish live in water. They have dorsal fin for movement, for swimming in the water. They have fin. They have also the scale that protect them in the water. The scales usually thick. They also have lateral line that can help them to detect vibration, to detect movement of water in the water also. They also have gills that helps them to breathe within. The gills is actually covered with operculum. So that one they see the gills. If you open the operculum, this very structure, if you open it up, this is what you see, the gills. So it's very reddish. This is what they use for breathing, for gaseous exchange instead of lungs. So since they don't live on the land, they use this gill for exchange of lungs. So they have also caudal fin. The caudal fin helps them to propel forward if they are moving in the water. So basically this is a special adaptation of fish in the water. They have also streamlined body that helps them to maneuver and also to move quickly in the water. They have eyesight, powerful eyesight. They have also swimming bladder that helps them for buoyancy to float easily in the aquatic environment. So let's look at birds also. But before we look at bird, we want to look at duck, for example. Duck can live in the water. It can also live on the land. Now, for example, look at the special. They have serrated beak. The beak is somehow they use it to scoop microscopic food, microscopic organisms in the water. So that is the special adaptation for feeding actually for them. So they have a webbed leg body. This helps them to swim in the water. If you look at the body, it's so curved like a canoe or boat that can help them to live on the top of water without them sinking into the water. Now let's look at the bird properly, flying bird. Now bird, this is a good example of a bird, and they have special feature also that help them to live, to fly, and also to live as a boreal animal, help them to live as a terrestrial, help them to live as also um, um, yeah, as a flying animal. Now, for example, they have wing for flight. That's what they use for flying. They also have hollowed bones. Their bones is always having space inside. It's not thick. This help them to so that they will not be heavy as they are flying. So they also have light body just as a result of the presence of the hollowed body. So they become lighter for them to fly wherever they want. So they have also feather for flight and also for temperature regulation in their body. Not only that, they have a streamlined body. This is streamlined bodied structure, a streamlined body. They also have a powerful eyesight that can turn either side for them to see in the boreal habitat where they are. They have a light body weight for flight, as I said earlier. Now, another good example is chameleon. Chameleon can change depending on its environment. Since they are very slow, so the only way they can camouflage and hide from the predator is for them to change to blend with the environment so that the predator will not see them. So they have powerful eyesight. Their type of eye can turn 360 degree without any problem. So this helps them to move, to see round the clock, to see round their environment actually where they are. They also have the ability to change their body according to the environment where they are. They also have claws for holding the branches of trees where they are or the plants where they are, and also they have long sticky tongues for them to capture the prey. They throw it out and then they capture their own prey into their own mouth. They also have adhesive, powerful tail for them to grab or to hold the object of the tree where they are found. So basically, these are special adaptation of uh, chameleon. Now let's look at the special adaptation of tapeworm. They are mostly endoparasites. So how do they live in our body, in the host body, without them getting decayed or digested by the enzymes in our intestine. Now, number one, they have cuticle on their body actually. So this cuticle prevents the digestive enzymes that our stomach do release in order to digest the food around us. Number three, they have hook which they use to hold to the walls of our intestine, and the hooks help them it prevent them from dislodging from the body. The hawker also does the same thing. The sucker does the same thing, so it is enables them to stick to the walls of the host body, and they cannot be moved easily. They have also um numerous eggs. They produce a lot of egg. This help them to survive wherever they are found. So with a little one, with a little um, and they're also hermaphrodite actually. They're hermaphrodite. They don't need another organism to come and fertilize them. They can fertilize themselves. So this gives them a chance of survival in the host body. Even if it is one that is found in the host body, that very singular one can reproduce in thousands, can reproduce in hundreds, and so they can survive in the environment where they are. So basically with this, I hope you've understood what adaptation is all about. You have also seen some adaptation in some plants. You have seen some adaptation in aquatic animals and also in aquatic plants. We have also seen some characteristics of adaptation of special orga- organisms such as birds and so on and so forth. So with this, I believe if you have any question, you can throw the question on gradely, and then I will answer your question appropriately. Thanks for listening.